Hello everyone. Today we will explore a fascinating question. Why did Virginia Woolf ask for a room of one's own and not a house of one's own? At first, it sounds like a small difference, but hidden inside those words is one of the most powerful ideas about freedom, creativity, women's lives were written. And once you understand it, you will never hear the phrase the same way again. In 1929, Virginia Woolf published her famous extended essay, A Room of One's Own. It is divided into six parts. I hope you had already read the essay. In it, she argued that a woman needs two things to write fiction. First is money, and second is a room of her own. But why is the room, not the house? Can't a woman who owns a house be able to write? To understand this, we have to understand the socio-economic condition of women at that time. In the 19th century, women started their battle for education. Because of that, during the time of 1850s to 60s, some girls' schools had opened in England and girls were first allowed to go to school. In 1978, the University of London opened all degrees to women. Before that, women were not allowed to go to college. In 1920, Oxford University also allowed women to take classes and degrees. Cambridge University is the last university to give degrees to women in 1948. Can you imagine? Till the mid 19th century, there were no formal girls' education in England. But the first boys' school, the King's School, was established in 6th century. Now perhaps we can understand why history produced so few recognized female figures like Shakespeare, Dryden, or Pope, or why Virginia Woolf won't find any work by female artists in the museum. It is because of this huge gap between boys and girls' education. Even today, women often do not receive equal opportunities in many fields. Along with the right to education, women are also struggling for the right to property. Through Married Women Property Act 1882, married women were first allowed to inherit, hold, and sell property. Before this act, husbands legally controlled their wife's property. But single women, either widow or unmarried, always had the legal right to own property. The Law of Property Act 1922, which granted husband and wives equal right to inherit from each other. And alongside these struggles came another long battle, which was to fight for voting rights. In 1928, just 1 year before the essay was published, women got equal voting rights. Despite some improvements, women face many problems like unequal pay for equal work, pressure of marriage, household duties, childbirth, childcare, etc. Now, as you know, women have the right to property. Then why not Virginia Woolf asked for a house? Because the early modern age was a transitional age, and transition usually start from privileged class, not with everyone. Although women get the right to property, education, vote, and work, do you really think that each and every woman enjoy these rights? Or just an official piece of paper enough to change the condition of the whole nation? The answer is definitely no. For example, in many developing nations, dowry, child marriage, female foeticide are legally banned, yet they're still happening in reality. Let me know in the comment section which bad practice is banned in your country, but people are still doing that. That's why most women of early 20th century could not even imagine owning a house and receiving higher education. But in this transition era, Virginia Woolf dared to ask something radical, which is a personal room. Because now onward, she doesn't want women to be more anonymous. Another reason for which Woolf asked for room and not the house is that a house represents responsibility, like cooking, cleaning, serving others, managing family life, etc. Historically, women were expected to devote themselves to the house. But Woolf wasn't asking women to become better caretaker of a household. She was asking them she was asking them to become creators and not just spend their life fulfilling social expectation. For Virginia Woolf, a room was not just a physical space. It was a symbol of privacy, independence, silence, freedom to think, a place where women can sit peacefully without any interruption and create something valuable for herself and for society as well. The house belongs to the family, but the room belongs to the self. The house is public, but the room is personal. The house is about ownership, but the room is about identity. Virginia Woolf wasn't dreaming of wealth. She was asking for something more fundamental, a small corner of the world where a woman could finally belong to herself. A space with no interruption, no worries, just peace. A space to think, create, and earn. And maybe that's why the phrase become immortal. We can say that Virginia Woolf understands something timeless. Before a woman can belong to the world, she must first belong to herself. If you enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comment section, what does a room of one's own mean to you today? And do you have a room of your own? See you in the next video.